Welcome to Aging in Place Strategies and Answers with Linda Prio. Will it be possible to remain in my home as I age? Do I feel safe in my home? How do I figure out how much support I will need when my health needs start to change? What if I decide to move into a community instead? Which community will meet my needs now and in the future? Who will play a role in helping me with decision making? Do you ask yourself these same questions? Aging in Place Strategies and Answers can help you gain practical knowledge that will help you create your own Aging in Place roadmap. If you are already a care partner, a power of attorney, or in crisis mode with your Aging in Place strategy, you will learn what you need to know that you don't know. For over 20 years, I have been marketing Aging in Place services to clients and educating families and healthcare professionals in how to put aging in place strategies into place. When you utilize aging in place, you are allowed to choose where you want to live and make those decisions so that you can retain your quality of life. Welcome back to Aging in Place, Strategies and Answers. Please look for part 1 and 2 of my podcast called Considering Buying or Selling Your Home. If you're thinking about selling your home, right-sizing, leasing, or making a move to a senior community. In that podcast, my guest, Stephanie Parson from Keller Williams, and I discuss the commission changes in effect for buyers and sellers, plus special considerations realtors need to consider when working with seniors. I also just launched a new episode called Quick Sale, Quick Closing, and Quick Cash for Your Home. And you can see that episode on my YouTube channel called Aging in Place, Strategies and Answers, or wherever you listen to my podcast. But in that interview, Mike from Faster House, a St. Louis company, and I discuss how this kind of real estate transaction can work for you, what the process is for determining the cash value of your home, and other items such as pros and cons of this kind of real estate transaction. You're not going to want to miss this opportunity to learn more about this type of real estate transaction. In Season 2, I worked with Dennis Cooper from the Federal Reserve Bank to offer you the latest information on a home equity conversion mortgage, also known as reverse mortgage. That interview answered a lot of questions, but also had me asking more questions about this type of real estate transaction. If you do a quick search of other real estate equity transactions or products, you will find some old ones and some new ones. For example, a home equity line of credit, a HELOC, is basically a second mortgage on your home, giving you a line of credit to draw upon if you need it. That loan would need to be paid off at the time you sell your house or before, and interest is charged on what you borrowed, and that interest would be at the current lending rate. A newer type of real estate transaction is the sale leaseback, being offered by investment brokers. You sell your house to the investment company, and they lease your house back to you for market rate. You get to live like a renter without the worries of expensive repairs, property taxes, and homeowners insurance. But bearing the cost of rent is your new Achilles heel. The contract will specify how long you will need to remain a renter, so be sure to read the fine print. A newer type of mortgage equity loan offers cash with no fees, but when you repay the loan, the fees will be assessed on the current appreciation of your home. One day, my father said to me, "You know, Linda, I'm sitting on a ton of equity in my home, and I cannot get it out to live on." This is the type of question that people have been trying to solve for quite a long time. HELOCs and HECMs have been around for years, and they help people tap into the equity of their home. But there are new kids on the block, air quotes, new kids on the block, that are offering new ways to solve or answer this old question. So, if you're thinking of tapping into the equity in your home, please do your homework. As with anything you hear or learn, you must get the answers for yourself so you can make an educated decision. Remember that this podcast is educational and not advice, and each person has a unique set of values and criteria or problems that they're trying to solve. However, I do feel that there are some universal truths that need to be exposed so that we can have an honest discussion. Now, it's true that most seniors older than 65 own their homes, and they view their equity in their homes as a financial reserve. And I'm going to be repeating that because I think that's an important part of this discussion, and as you plan and prepare for the future. It is also true that most seniors' homes have appreciated over the years that they've lived in them. It is also true that as a senior enters advanced life stages, not all have kept up on expensive repairs. Some have left bathrooms, kitchens, and flooring outdated. I also believe it is true that some seniors could be in danger or currently are house poor. So we're going to pause here for a word from our sponsor, and when I come back, we're going to be talking about that.
The Neptune Society is the oldest and largest cremation service in the United States. For over 50 years, the Neptune Society has been proud to provide signature service to the families they've served. With a prearranged funeral plan, you can declare what you want done at the time of your passing, pay for it in advance, and not leave your survivors with the cost of your final arrangements. Call 314-266-2898. That's 314-266-2898.
Welcome back to the podcast. The term that I was going to describe before we took a break was house poor. And this term is used to describe the situation where the cost of remaining in your home and the fixed monthly and annual costs that you incur because of homeowning become greater than your income or what you can afford. So how do we as seniors get into a house poor situation? Well, according to Yahoo Finance, number one, there is a strong emotional attachment to your home. And this is true because everybody I have interviewed has said the same thing. So do not discount the emotional attachment. Shane Adkins, a certified financial planner and financial advisor at Broadway Graham Wealth Partners, says that because emotions can get in the way and because baby boomers don't want to give up their homes, even though they may no longer be bringing in enough money in retirement to afford them, they start dipping into their savings to keep the house. Now, there is an emotional attachment to the home, to your neighborhood, to your community or maybe even the state in which you reside. And leaving that home can be a very difficult decision for some. For others of you who may be listening, you're saying, I don't get it. I could leave this home tomorrow. And if you listen to my podcast with Michael from Bastrop House, you're going to hear how a family, man and a wife, decided, hey, look, we enjoyed our house. This is our new game plan. We want to get out of our house. But this is a significant loss to a senior in many situations. But the experts say your home should be paid for based on your monthly income. You shouldn't have to deplete your savings every month trying to keep your home afloat. So, how do we solve the problem? Well, the easiest way I can think of is to write down your monthly income in one column and then start writing down your fixed costs on your home in another column. And these numbers will tell the picture. And I think that's sometimes the hardest part, is to make a decision, to look at the numbers and see what they tell you. Now, it is hard to kick that emotional attachment to the curb, but Bankrate.com offers this advice if you find yourself in this situation. You might consider debt consolidation. But do your homework, because most of the financial programs that I listen to always say that not everybody acts with integrity. You might also consider refinancing your mortgage if you still have a mortgage, but do the math. The general rule of thumb from experts is that you should reduce your interest rate by at least 1/4 point and stay in the house 5 more years to make the cost of the switch worthwhile. Also, check with your lender if you still have a mortgage. If you have more than 20% equity in your home, you can appeal to suspend your private mortgage insurance payments. But tapping into your home's worth, the home equity that you have accrued, could also complicate things if you decide to put your house up for sale. But I'm also adding, if you don't own your own home, remember that you will not realize 100% of the equity because the mortgage is paid off at closing. Now, are there places where you can begin to limit discretionary spending? You might want to consider that this could be the right time to right size, or to consider one of the equity products mentioned in this podcast. Well, let's talk about a statement that I mentioned earlier in this podcast. I said that according to research, many seniors consider their home equity a financial reserve that they have at their use when they need it. Need it for what? Well, for creating an assisted living at home and to pay for the care they might need when their health needs change. Or they might need to purchase home maintenance services they will need when their health needs change and they're no longer to perform those tasks. In other words, to age in place. Street.com says, another resource for self-funding, often overlooked, however, is the use of home equity, which could provide a tax-efficient, convenient option to both age in place and pay for any long-term care needs. The main idea here is to make your home work for you in retirement, not the other way around. If your house is gobbling up too much of your resources, it might be time for an honest conversation about what truly makes sense for your golden years, now and in the future. Aging in place at home has always been the most popular option in care, but remember that roughly 65% of seniors rely on friends or family plus service agencies to provide the assistance that they need to meet their care needs and their home maintenance needs inside and outside the home. So there are additional expenses that are going to need to be funded. You might want to call your financial planner and get an appointment to review your long-term strategy if you decide it is time to right-size or move to a senior community. Schedule a legal consult to secure your financial future and protect your assets. You can also talk to a senior real estate specialist to determine what options you have, because they have extra training to know whether leasing a property, renting a property, buying another home, right-sizing, or even what kind of senior communities are out there that would be best suited to your current care needs. But whatever you do, please keep listening to this podcast, because we are going to get educated on what we need to know to create our own personalized aging life plan. Today's caregiver tip is the statistics that I gave you just a minute ago, that 65% of seniors rely on friends, family, and service agencies to help meet their care needs and home maintenance needs inside and outside the home. Many, many times I have talked with adult children who have given me a list of reasons why they cannot be involved 100% in caring or maintaining their parents' home. And believe me, they always give me legitimate reasons. I also hear adult children telling me that their parents do not want outside help. A third party, a care manager, or honest, respectful conversations need to take place so that you have a clear idea of what your parents' aging strategy is, and if they will have the dollars that they will need to put that strategy in place. You can do it. And if you can't, you just heard 3 options of experts that you can bring in to have these kinds of conversations. Thanks for listening, friends. I appreciate the time we spent together. Thank you for joining me today. Please remember that this podcast is intended as guidance and not advice. Share this podcast with friends and family who are currently in crisis mode, or with people who would like to start developing their own roadmap for aging in place. Listeners, if you would like a deeper dive into a topic discussed during a podcast, please subscribe to Aging in Place Strategies and Answers, where you will be able to access premium content. Or if you would like to suggest a topic for this podcast, please contact me at linda.agingstrategies@gmail.com. As always, I value the time you spend with me.